Ekamaksharam Brahma Bhagavan Purushottama Jano Jananidam Satyam Mochyate Bhavavantaram Shri Swami Bhagavan Ki Jai Akshar Purushottam Maharaj Ki Jai Radha Krishna Deva Ki Jai Siyavar Ramachandra Bhagavan Ki Jai प्रमुख स्वामी महाराज की जय, महंत स्वामी महाराज की जय, प्रमुख स्वामी महाराज शताब्दी महोत्सव की जय। With prostrations at the divine feet of Bhagavan Swami and my Guru Hari, Param Pujya Mahant Swami Maharaj and Param Pujya Mahant Pramukh Swami Maharaj, my heartiest namaskar, good evening, and dear Swami to all the distinguished guests present in this assembly. The thought that I would like to share with you today is attitude, the master key to happiness. We live in this 20th century, this 21st century, and this population of 7 billion upon this earth. We live in such times that there are fancier houses but broken homes. We live in the times when there are double incomes and no divorces. These are the times where we have high-rise buildings and low-rise characters. These are the times where we have broader highways and narrower viewpoints. These are the times where there are steep profits in businesses and shallow relationships. These are the times where man has gone all the way to the moon and has come back. But he finds it extremely difficult to cross the road and meet the new neighbor. These are the times of steep profits in businesses and shallow relationships. In short, the list is very long. But to keep it short, these are the times of mankind in the 21st century, where we have broken the atom and produced tremendous amount of energy. But we find it extremely difficult to break up prejudice and keep the relationship going. We have much to show in the show window and nothing in the storeroom. We are moving gradually more towards materialism. And now spirituality is a faraway coast. In the midst of this, every human being upon this earth, he aspires for success in life. And he wants success in all walks of life. I think of everybody of you sitting here, and all of us of course, we all want success in all walks of life. Yes or no? If you say yes, just raise your hands. It's a human aspiration, and without that aspiration, you cease to be a human being. Success in all walks of life. Success associated with satisfaction in all walks of life. Success and satisfaction plus peace in all walks of life. And that combines together to bring total happiness in life. We all want that. For that, we heavily rely upon academics. We rely upon our talents. We rely upon our backgrounds and back support systems and resources. We rely on our businesses. We rely upon our family relationships. We rely upon social networking that we have. And maybe some part of life and some part of time and energy. We also rely upon some fractional spirituality as well. But the increasing studies, both in the Western and the Eastern world today, they have come to a conclusion after a detailed study, survey, and research, all three, that sometimes with more and rather adequate resources that you have, still people have not been able to achieve the desired success in life. And on the other hand, the fact is, with lesser resources, backgrounds and support systems, sometimes people have achieved more in life. I think you all agree with me. Yes or no? What is the reason behind that? More resources, perhaps less success. Sometimes lesser resources, more success, beyond imaginations. The principal reason, they say, is your attitude towards life, attitude towards your work, attitude towards your relationships. In short, they say that 90% of your success depends upon your attitudes and only 10% on your technical expertise, on your know-how of the subject, on other resources like relationships, backgrounds, platforms, support systems. What happens with you is 10%. How you take it in life is 90%. I'm talking of the impact. Whatever happens in our life, in the plus section or the minus section, the impact of it is only 10%. That means it has the power to create the impact on your life and your thought process is only 10%. How you take it in life, from which angle you look at that particular situation or happening in your life, has the power to impact the rest 90%. If you say I can, you can. If you say I think I will never, you can never. That is called attitude in life. A renowned American psychologist, he did a very detailed survey and a detailed study on this particular aspect of life. He might have met more than 3,000 successful people upon this earth. Successful not just as businessmen, he was successful as businessmen, as a father, as a husband or as a wife, as a brother, as a sister, as a son or a daughter, as a relative, as a friend. He might have read more than about 500 articles on this particular aspect of life. He might have heard more than about 1,000 hours of audios on this particular aspect of life, that is attitude. And he writes a book after 14 years of study to this subject. The book that perhaps has an all-time standing among the top 10 ever in the New York Times bestsellers list. The author Jeff Keller, and he's written the book, Attitude is Everything. जो कुछ जीवन में है वो अभिगम है, अभिगम ही सर्वस्व है. Beautifully he mentions typically three things in this book. First, he states that success begins in the head. So think right. Second, he says success secondly depends upon what you talk, how you speak, how you express yourself. So, speak right. Because your words describe your personality. The kind of the words that you use makes up your personality in the eyes of the onlooker. Third, success depends upon, and lastly, third and last, the success depends upon how you act. So, act wisely. So thinking rationally, acting purposefully, and talking meaningfully sums up the total concept of attitude when it comes to success in life. Because with attitude, you can perceive every situation, every happening as good and profitable to you. There are people upon this earth who can turn any negative happening in his life towards his own advantage. The top guy in the country has this ability, has this attitude that he can change any bar thrown at him towards the audience or the opposition and can turn any happening to a giant vote bank. It is unbelievable. I just want to exemplify how the situation can be turned around for your advantage. कोई भी परिस्थिति में आप किस प्रकार की सोच रखें ताकि वो परिस्थिति आपके लाभ में परिवर्तित हो जाए. This is the first aspect of attitude to be done. कोई भी परिस्थिति में अगर हम सोच एक निश्चित प्रकार की रखें तो वो परिस्थिति हमारे लाभ में हम परिवर्तित कर सकते हैं. और मिनिमम इतना तो कर सकते हैं, it can produce a minimum damage to you. That depends upon your thinking process. जो बनने वाला था वो बन गया. अब क्या सिचुएशन तो बदलने में, प्रॉफिटेबल होने में शायद समय तो लगेगा. Before that situation turns into profit, you need to have a mindset. You got my point? Before the situation that has negatively started impacting your life, your relationships, your work, you need to have a typical mindset, a firm mindset that it creates minimum damage in your life. Unless the situation turns, you need to keep that strong mindset. And that strong mindset is attitude. Negativity still is there, but it is less capable of affecting you. It is by attitude. Many years back, I read the Reader's Digest. It was just a story. Once upon a time, God called 3 people in heaven. And he wanted to tell something special to these 3 special people so that they would propagate his news amongst the people of the world. All 3, the first was the then American President Bill Clinton. This was on like 31st December 1999. Second one was Colin Powell, who was the Secretary of State. And third was Bill Gates, the self-made richest person upon this earth. All 3 went into heaven with the grace of God. And God said, fine, after giving them a personal audience, that I want to convey something very special to the human beings upon this earth. And you 3 are chosen ones. And all 3 were like, oh. And God said, the message to the people of the world is, tomorrow I am going to destroy the world. Now you have to go and tell the people of the earth that I am doing this. All 3 sad face, deeply rejected, in grief, came back upon earth. And according to the protocol, it was American President of primetime American TV to come in front of the camera and say, ladies and gentlemen, there is some good news and there is some bad news. The good news is that I saw heaven, I saw God. And the bad news is that He's going to destroy the world tomorrow. And with tears in his eyes, he was off the camera. That was, according to the protocol, the second most diplomat in the American system, the Secretary of State. So Colin Powell came in front of the camera and said, ladies and gentlemen, there is some bad news and some good news. What did Clinton say? Good and bad. Colin Powell goes, bad and good. Bad news is that, my God, I saw heaven, I also saw hell, and my God, He exists because He knew what He was doing in Iraq at that time. And the good news is that America is finishing off Iraq tomorrow. Turning the same situation towards your own personal benefits and advantages so it does not negatively impact you. And now, it was the turn of perhaps the most shrewd businessman the planet has ever seen. High school dropouts and the self-made richest person upon this earth, Bill Gates. He faces the camera and goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, there is some good news and more good news. The good news is that I was chosen among the top 3 by God himself, like Grammy or Oscar. I was chosen among the top 3 in the population of 6 to 6.5 billion upon this earth by God himself. And the more good news is, Microsoft is solving the Y2K problem tomorrow. Because in 1999, in the month of December, we had this very serious issue. How would the computer take the last 3 zeros after 2? So it was for the year 2000 problem, the Y2K problem. And Microsoft is solving it tomorrow. Because who is going to be alive tomorrow to see whether Microsoft is solving it or not? The same situation, but turning around to your advantage depends upon your thinking, and that basic thinking comes upon from the platform of firm attitudes in life. Any situation, any happening, we know, into bracket, is not in our control. Yes or no? Situations that crop up, right from the time you get out of your bed in the morning till you retire at the end of the day in your bedroom, situations are not in our control. What is in our control is an application of thought processes to that situation. That is called attitude. The principal advantage of positive attitude is you remain least affected by negative happening of life. And you don't get too much overjoyed and jump over the wall by a great positive happening in life. You remain in a state of equilibrium. That is the biggest advantage of attitude in life. Pravachan Swami Maharaj wanted to build a huge temple in London. For that, the organization had purchased a land in an area called Harrow in London. For some reason, the neighborhood people, they put a case in the court that these people would go on with their music and the prayers and the dancing and the chanting of the holy name till midnight, and they would disturb our peace and disturb the neighborhood. So the court said, fine, proceedings from both the sides, and one of the systems in the legal system there in the West is that after the argument, the court also asks a signature campaign from the neighborhood. Who more of the people are with you? And of course, in the signature campaign, they collected more because we being immigrants and they being the locals, they got a more number in the signature campaign, presented in the court, and we lost the case. It was a huge setback in a worldly sense of the organization and Pravachan Maharaj himself. The spiritual head of this organization, he passed away just like about 8 months back at the age of 95. Pravachan Maharaj was in Vadodara at that time, and the trustees from London, they called Pravachan Maharaj on the phone and said, Swami, it's bad news and we have lost the case. We would be able to build a temple there. It was Pravachan's dream. And each and every, the smallest follower of the organization, a small child, was highly aspired for that. Pravachan Swami Maharaj was at that time witnessed physically and emotionally at that very moment by one of our elder saints who lived inside Swami, spent more than 45 years with him. He said, I could not see a single change of breakup on Pravachan's face, neither was it dejected or depressed. He accepted the situation wholeheartedly, and then see the attitudes of Pravachan Maharaj in his eyes. He said, doesn't matter. Let God's wish prevail. We tried our best, but maybe Bhagwan Swaminarayan wanted to sit somewhere else in London. Start searching for the new land. We want a mandir in London. This is called attitude in life. Acceptance of the situation, not allowing the situation to disturb you physically, mentally, emotionally, and still being firm on your decided goals in life. One more hurdle People of this class simply think, one more hurdle, so what? Let's jump over it. World-renowned 110 meters hurdles champion at Moses. He was the chairman of the London Olympic Committee. The Olympics were played in 2012 there. After his retirement, well, he must have got more than 70, 80 national medals, Olympic medals all counted together. He was asked, what is the secret of the success? And he said, people saw that I ran 110 meters hurdles, that is a hurdle to be jumped every 10 meters, 10 hurdles to be jumped. People saw me running 110 meters hurdles. Actually, I was running 110 meters flat surface run. I never had the sign on the hurdles. I straight away had the sign on the goal, on the finish line, on the gold medal. And then he said a beautiful sentence, which the Reader Digest quoted that title, the box item. That hurdles are those which you see when your eyes are off the goal. I repeat. Hurdles are those which you see when your eyes are off the goal. This is attitude in life. Situations, again I repeat, you don't have any control over it. But you definitely have a control on the application of thought process to that situation. That is called attitude in life. So with this basic concept of attitude towards work, attitude towards relationships, and attitude towards your own self, makes up your complete life. First, attitude towards work. In whichever profession you are, 8 hours of honest, ethical hard work should be the attitude. Pravachan Swami Maharaj in his lifetime, he became the president of this organization at the very tender age of 28 in 1950. It's a world record that no person has served as the president of such a huge international NGO. Forget a huge international NGO, even a small organization anywhere, for 65 long years of his life. Dinesh, have you any example of a president serving for such a long term in any organization here in Kolkata? No. Even 6.5 is impossible. Forget 65. We don't have any elections in the organization. It's always the nomination from the previous group. Then after he became the guru of this organization in 1971, he served as the spiritual head of this organization for 45 years. So 45 years as guru and 65 years as president. The amount of hard work that he has done to grow this organization from a handful of devotees to a permanent membership in the United Nations. Tremendous amount of hard work. Attitude towards work, you learn from Pravachan Swami Maharaj. He has traveled to more than 18,000 villages in 60 countries of the world. This is an unbelievable world record. I challenge, you will find out any person in the population of 7 billion upon this earth, any public figure, any person who is living a public life who has traveled to 18,000 villages. Have you any name? No. He has read and personally answered more than 7 lakh letters during his lifetime at an unbelievable average of 60 to 70 incoming letters, fax or mails every day. He has personally sanctified more than 3 lakh homes, offices, shops and factories in his lifetime. He has met more than 20 million people, hearing their all sorts of questions and problems of life. Not just answering and blessing them, finding a solution for them is more difficult. In his daily routine, he used to sit for at least 1 or 2 meetings every day, local or organizational meetings. He has built more than 1,300 temples of worship all over the world with more than 150 hospitals, schools, hospitals, and colleges, and successfully administering it. For that reason, the Guinness Book of World Records more than 6 times. But the saint's life is not to be judged from the these book of records, values counts, but I'm just sharing with you some of the statistics that are mind-boggling for an ordinary human life. He initiated more than 1,050 saints like us. Out of them, more than 500 of them are graduates, postgraduates, chartered accountants, doctors, and engineers. Out of them, like more than 100 are more American and British citizens, of course, NRIs. And out of them, like more than 150 to 25 are Watson, Carnegie Mellon, Harvard, Oxford graduates. He could attract the best of talent, best of minds, and the best of virtues in human form for into this fold for the betterment of mankind, according to the process he created. What a lofty human life that is. But this attitude towards hard work is what we want to learn today. Anybody can perhaps label out his life. But labeling out life is different. With attitudes, you do hard work, calculated hard work is different. Pravachan Swami Maharaj's attitude towards hard work after doing so much of hard work. One thing he believed was, he always used to say, that if at all you get the thought in your mind, that I'll do this work after 2 seconds, it is procrastination and laziness. ये काम मैं 2 सेकंड के बाद करूंगा, ऐसा विचार आया, that is laziness, आलस. This was his attitude towards work. We have seen him reading or writing letters on railway platforms, waiting for his appointment at a dentist. And dentist would say, sir, Swami, just 2 minutes, and he will ask for a letter to read and write. Swami train is late by about 25 minutes. He would pick up letters to write. On the platforms at 12 midnight. Attitude towards hard work. Second important attitude towards work was, he was always honest in his work. He never kept aside the least of any lesser known ethics in his life. Absolutely honest, ethical hard work. When it comes to work, no cheatings and no compromises. Once Pravachan Swami Maharaj was asked, which thought remains with you 24/7 in your mind? And with a smile on his face, he said, shall I tell you the thought that has never entered my mind? And that was more interesting. जो विचार मुझे कभी नहीं आया, that was more interesting. अगर हमको कोई पूछे कि जो विचार आपको कभी नहीं आया, वो आप कहेंगे? Difficult to find out. And Pravachan Swami Maharaj, this question, everybody felt very interested, and Pravachan Swami Maharaj said, the thought of hurting anybody, physically, mentally, or emotionally, has never entered my mind. किसी का भी कभी भी अतीत हो ऐसा विचार मुझे जीवन में कभी नहीं आया. This was his honest, ethical hard work. कहाँ कॉर्पोरेट लेग पुले और कहाँ किसी का भी अहित करने का विचार न हो. What a vast difference between the two. One more attitude towards work was, he always thought of everybody around him. He always thought of all-round human development in all walks of life, by all organizations. Pravachan Swami never saw any organization as a competitive organization. He never looked upon any organization from an envious point of view. In 1997, Pravachan Swami Maharaj was in Mumbai. At that time, in the year 1986-1987, we exceeded growth in Gujarat. The organization, under his leadership and guidance and blessings, we established 4 cattle camps. We kept more than 12,000 cattle heads. One gentleman, a very genuine donor, he came up to Pravachan Swami in a personal meeting and said, Swami, this is a check of 1 lakh rupees. I would like to donate towards the activities of your cattle camp. A very big, well-known donor. Pravachan Swami Maharaj asked him to offer the check to the idol of Hari Krishna Maharaj that we see here. This is 200 years old, this Hari Krishna Maharaj. It has been worshipped since last 200 years by all the gurus after Gyanvatsal Swami had. So he asked the gentleman to offer his check to Hari Krishna Maharaj and said, I would like to make you a small request. Is that I just received a letter 3 weeks back from one of the organizations. They are a cattle camp. They are a Jain community, the Jain trustees of that organization. They have about like 100 cattle, a very small village in Bangladesh, Bhavna, in Gujarat. And they are in need of fodder, they are in need of some monetary help. So if you don't mind, can you forward this check to them? This is appeal towards God. Not only I grow, everybody should grow. All people doing good work, we should join hands for the betterment of humanity. That gentleman said, Swami, I don't know those people. Swami said, I know. That gentleman said, Swami, I know only you and I come to you for this donation. Pramukh Swami said, I know those people. I know the Jain community trustees of that cattle camp. They are very good people. They are running the cattle camp very genuinely. So I request you to forward this donation. And that gentleman with tears in his eyes and a hope on his face, he said, Swamiji, I have been donating to various organizations since last 2-3 decades. For the first time in my life, I am coming across a personality who himself needs charity for all his activities, for the running of the organization, and when in such times, I am offering a donation, and is redirecting that donation towards another organization. Swami heads off and give Pravachan to Pravachan Swami. I grow, everybody grows. Our activity grows, everybody's activity grows. Let's all be happy. In the joy of others lies our own. Versus credo. In the progress of all, rests our own. Versus credo. So when it comes to work and relationships, there should be the attitude in life. And the last part that I would like to share with you today is our attitude towards spirituality and attitude towards God. God exists. An absolute faith in the scriptures. An absolute faith in the lives and teachings of great saints of India. I tell you that not hundreds, but thousands of writings of our scriptures now have been scientifically proved. And thousands of thousands will get proved. I was talking to like 400 scientists at Taj in Bangalore. I was talking logic versus faith. I told them, what is science doing? It is actually proving everything that has been written in the scriptures by the sages. Whatever is written in the scriptures is right. That faith, because we live by faith and less by logic. Every step of human life is faith. When you were going around the parikrama of the fire, the holy fire, as part of your marriage ceremony, did you ever have the doubts that if I get divorced after 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years? At that time you had the faith that silver jubilee and golden jubilee. That faith takes your hand. We walk by faith. My simple logic is, many of us have traveled overnight in buses, trains, or flights, or late night. Yes or no? Have you seen the pictures of trains or buses, head-on collisions, falling into the river from the bridge? And yet, we take a nap at night while traveling. With complete faith in the driver or the pilot. Then of course, head-on collisions that happen. Just a nap by the driver or the pilot, and a massive accident has happened. But today, it is not going to happen. That faith in us, otherwise it comes in the forefront, in the conscious mind. You won't be able to say. My simple question is that, on a salary 10,000 rupees person, if you can put so much faith of putting your life, why can't we put faith after saying such a pure and an honest life, like such great saints from Swami Maharaj and his teachings? It is faith. You name the top 100 scientists, from Isaac Newton to Albert Einstein to Archimedes to Pascal, they are all deep faith. Isaac Newton said, seeing his movement of the thumb, that in the absence of any other proof, the movement of this thumb alone convinces me of God's existence. A man who gave more than 150 discoveries and inventions. He could see 12 different types of movements in this small mechanism. We only one, right from childhood. Another one, great. Not the third one. So attitude towards spirituality is faith. Logical faith from the scientists. Top class management gurus, Og Mandino, Stephen Covey, Ken Blanchard, Jim Collins. Jim Collins charges about $70,000 for 1 hour of talking. What must he be talking? Charging you $70,000 for 1 hour is the highest paid orator on this earth. What must he be talking? What you are listening FOC since last 25 minutes. Attitudes of life, ethics in life, faith in the happenings of life, absolute faith in the all goal of life. This is what they teach the top class executives. People sitting in front of him are not students. They are CEOs of giant multinational companies. People who turn around 1 lakh crores, 2 lakh crores every year. They are not to be taught administration, network, system. They are themselves masters in it. They are taught this values of life. And how does that faith help practically? Attitude towards faith, how does that help? First, you will develop an egoless personality. It is absolutely necessary for great work and better relationships. Egoless personality is very much necessary for great work in life and better relationships. That egoless personality absolutely comes in your life by your attitude of absolute faith in the greatness and the all-doership of God. Pravachan Swami built this magnificent Swami and Akshardham in Delhi. In a month-long opening ceremony, we had the who's who of the country and the who's who at the international level coming to visit. They would all praise this great work of Pravachan. Said, Swami, aapne to Delhi mein dil rakh diya. Swami, 4 dham the aapne 5waं kar kar diya. That praises. And we have seen all of the saints and our elder volunteers, Pravachan with folded hands, he would say, in his traditional Gujarati, he would say, Bhagwan Swaminarayan ની કૃપાથી અમારા ગુરુ યોગીજી મહારાજનો સંકલ્પ અને આશીર્વાદથી અમે કાંઈ નથી કર્યું. And we do the smallest work and we raise our borders. If I wouldn't have been there at that time. Egolessness gives you height of great work. Attitude towards faith in God helps you in an egoless personality. Secondly, it gives you an equilibrium state of mind. This is also very important. A good work is blessings. A bad work, learning. A renowned physician, Dr. Neville Hacker, met Pravachan Swami Maharaj in 1992 in Kakinada. In a very normal conversation, according to his very natural habits, Pravachan Swami Maharaj asked him, Sahib, તમે ભગવાનમાં માનો છો? તમે ચર્ચમાં જાઓ? Do you go to church and believe in God and do your prayers? And Dr. Neville Hacker said, Swami, let me tell you very frankly, my patient is my God. And my hospital is my church. Fine, everybody has their own philosophies. You're not against that. Pravachan Swami posed a very simple question. Pravachan Swami said, if you perform, sir, a difficult operation successfully, do you get elevated? He said, yes. Immediately the second question, which threw him off balance. Pravachan Swami asked, and sir, if you fail a very simple operation, do you get depressed and dejected? Of course not. Prabhu Swami asked him thirdly, do you want an equilibrium state of mind where you don't get too much elated for a happy happening, and don't get too much downtrodden, dejected or depressed by a bad happening? Swami had been searching for this since years. And Prabhu Swami told him, believe God to be the all-doer. Whatever happens in your life happens for your good, happens for your progress, if you take it positively that way. Prabhu Swami said, God is not unhappy. If we as parents don't wish any ill on our children, why would God wish we are His children? That attitude towards the greatness and the doership of God helps you in an equilibrium state of mind. And lastly, attitude towards faith gives you peace in life, which is what we crave for after all the running. Gandhiji used to say that in the midst of all these activities, he gave the world mass movements, non-violent movements. From him, Martin Luther King learned. From him, Nelson Mandela learned. Gandhi used to say, in the midst of all the activities that I do, in the midst of all these meetings that I do, the absolute peace that I enjoy in my life, the inner peace that I experience in my life, is because of my singular faith in God. So attitude towards faith in God gives you three things. First, egoless personality for greater work and better relationships. Second, an equilibrium state of mind where you don't get elated or depressed by any happening of life, and you enjoy an equilibrium state of mind. And third is to experience peace. This three is heaven on earth. This three is heaven on earth. Do you agree with me or not? Absolutely. But our concept and attitude towards heaven on earth and heaven on earth is five things is heaven on earth if they come together. Five things if they come together is heaven on earth. According to our beliefs, a materialistic attitude towards life. What is heaven on earth? American salary. If you are paid in dollars. A combination of five things: American salary, a beautiful British house, fine cozy house, German car, Chinese food, and Indian wife. This is heaven on earth, isn't it? American salary, British house, German car, because BMW bought everything manufactured in Germany. Chinese food and Indian wife is heaven on earth. Now heaven on earth, Indian salary. If you are paying rupees. Chinese house, they will sometimes live in good houses. Chinese house. German food, they say that German food is not fine. German food, American car, and a British wife. They say 3W is changing Britain anytime. Wife and wife. We have this materialistic attitude towards happiness and trying to gain an equilibrium state of mind through materialistic approaches in life. Never succeed. Your approach towards life, from the attitude point of view, should be an absolute faith in the all worship of life, of all worship of God. And that is why we exist. Otherwise, this is a 70 or 80 year game, 5 10 plus minus in the grace of God. Yes or no? I'll give you a very simple counting. You sleep 8 hours a day. Somebody would say, I'm sleeping 6.5, 7 hours a day, but when you were a small child, you were sleeping 10 hours, and when you will grow up, you will sleep for another 10, 12 hours a day. So average will come down to 8 hours a day. A day is made up of 24 hours. 8 hours you sleep. That means 1/3 of the day you are sleeping. A straight equation says, if 1/3 of the day you are sleeping, 1/3 of the life you will sleep in bed, you don't know whether you exist or not. It straight away directly proportional. 1/3 of the day you are sleeping, that means 1/3 of the life you will sleep. Yes or no? That means if you live for 70 years upon this earth, 70, 23 years of your life is going to be in bed, you're sleeping, you don't know whether you are an MBA or not, whether you are a corporate hunk or not, whether you run a dairy farm or dairy products you produce or not, whether you are a financial advisor or not. We don't know whether we exist or not. In the midst of this, very short lifespan. I tell you, if you brush your teeth for 3 minutes a day, 80 days of your life will brush your teeth. So actually, a good working or a good living life, you don't have for more than about 25 years in your life. Just little under 25 years, you have an actual living in life. You have an actual life to live. And when it comes to this less a period, when it comes to this lesser time for actual living in life, you need to keep the right attitudes in life. The right attitude helps, it works. But according to the different existences, different kinds of thinking, different kinds of attitudes that we complete in another 2 minutes. Our elder Saint Gyanvatsal Swami, who was the Mahant of the Swaminarayan Temple in London, and the Mahant of the Swaminarayan Akshardham, the world famous monument that we talked of a bit. And today, he is the personal attendant and secretary to His Holiness Pujya Mahant Swami Maharaj, the spiritual head of this organization. The attitudes that I was talking like, just to complete it off. If the light goes off in America, what does an American do? He picks up the phone and talks to the executive of the electric company. Why? Should not happen. If the light goes off in Japan, they are self-made and self-working people. He would pick up a chair or a stool, get on it, and try to check his own fuse. They are self-work people. And you know what? If the light goes in India, he opens the window, everybody is dark. Why? It happens. So they are there and they are weak. So we learn attitude towards work, we learn attitude towards relationship, and we learn attitude towards faith in God. This principle, 3 attitudes, subsets of it, byproducts of it, are many, but principally these 3 attitudes are to be constantly checked, introspected for a better life. Attitude towards work that we learn from Pravachan's life, attitude towards relationship that we learn from his life, and attitude towards faith in God. This helps. My all prayers at the feet of Bhagavan Swaminarayan and my Guru Hari, Pravachan Swami Maharaj and Mahant Swami Maharaj, that they bless us all with the right kind of attitudes at all happenings in life, so that we remain stable, we remain ever in a happy state of mind. Thank you very much. Jai Swaminarayan.